Now, the phrase pocket rocket is somewhat overused by motoring journalists to describe a small nippy car, and I know I certainly fall into that category. But I'm struggling to find another means to describe this Smart Brabus, because it is certainly pocket size. Thanks to the generosity of Sandown Smart, we have one of the first examples in the country. Based on the tiny little city car, the Smart ForTwo, this car has a little bit of extra poke. The rear-mounted 898cc 3-cylinder turbocharged engine that powers the rear wheels now produces 108 brake horsepower, up from 89. But the biggest headline is the swell of torque that's risen from 135 Nm to 170, and that's definitely noticeable in the character of this car. Visually, the Smart Brabus receives stealthy matte paintwork. Of course, it still retains its glossy finishes and its big, round, characterful headlights, but there is something slightly more evil about the car, it has to be said, in this colour. Team the new sporty bodywork with a set of very smart 17-inch alloy wheels, and that dual Brabus sports exhaust poking out the back, and you have something that looks considerably meaner than the standard car. Inside, the interior retains that almost Apple-inspired feel. It's quite minimalist, but it does have some distinctive features, including these little pods that sit up on the dashboard. The easy-to-use touchscreen infotainment display down here offers all of your satellite navigation and radio needs. It sits in this floating tablet arrangement. For such a small car, there's a really good sense of space in here. You feel like you're in this little glass bubble, particularly this model with its panoramic roof, letting in even more light and amplifying that airy feel. The two seats up front are comfortable, maybe not the most supportive for a sporting car, but it's fair to say that they do their job well. Now, being a city car means that the boot is not massive. I mean, it's big enough for a handful of shopping bags, but the split folding tailgate is quite a nice feature, and it can actually support up to 100 kilos of weight. Driving the new Smart Brabus is certainly an interesting experience. It has this wonderful command of urban environments. Its small size means it can just zip through traffic at impossibly small gaps. You can really take advantage of gaps in traffic in this thing, and thanks to that increase of torque, you've got a bit more punch off the line than the standard car, which makes it a much more flexible machine to drive, actually. And yeah, it just has this incredible steering. I mean, it's not full of feel or anything, but it can turn on a sixpence, to use an old phrase. I mean, check it out. It's impossible. How do the laws of physics allow it to turn? Whenever you're on faster, more flowing roads, you can take full advantage of the other mechanical tweaks to this car, including its Brabus sports suspension, which decreases body roll by some margin. Something to note is that with these 17-inch alloy wheels and the sports suspension, the ride does become notably firmer. The relatively wide footprint of this car means it's got good levels of grip to begin with. It loves to dart from corner to corner with its quick change of direction, narrated by a more meaningful exhaust note. When it comes to transmission, this car has a 6-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, and when left in auto, it's perfectly fine. It picks its gears, it's relatively smooth, but it really comes into its own with these paddles on the steering wheel, because the shifts are really, really responsive, which is quite impressive for a small car like this. Smart claim that this car will do 62 mpg and emit 102 grams per kilometre of CO2. Starting at £16,320, the Smart ForTwo Brabus is not cheap for a small car. But I think what you have to remember is that it appeals to a specific group of people. It's those people who want to stand out and make a statement. And I tell you what, this car has that fun factor about it. There's no denying it. And that's certainly an element that lots of other small cars seem to be missing these days. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe for all of the latest and greatest cars to hit the road. For breaking news and written reviews, visit www.insidelane.co.uk.